Hello, everyone. This is your girl Shanidra with Beyond the Cover, where you will discover exactly what it is and what it's gonna be. So it's just the camera is a little crooked. It's not that. Okay. So, as you know, we go beyond the cover so you can discover. Now, as you can see behind me, we have our Amora Too Classy boutique dress. Now, everyone knows that leopard is my favorite print. So, this has a little bit of pink, green, all the spring colors, but it has to have a splash of my beautiful leopard print. So, leopard is my favorite print. So, yes, this dress has leopard print in it. Now, um, what's today? Thursday? Saturday, we will be on Magnolia across from KFC, where OBC used to be, vending. So, my Beyond the Cover Academy kids will be there vending with their products. They will be performing um, their songs or whatever, their gospel songs, and they will also have these available. So if they do sell out, you can still support them by purchasing one of these fundraiser yearbooks where they will be able to, you'll be able to learn about the child that you are supporting. So you'll get a gift regardless, whether it's purchasing one of their items. But if you don't see one of their items and you would still like to support one of them, you can always purchase one of the fundraisers and write down the name of the child that you are wanting to support. If you want to support all of them, you can do all of them. That's up to you. It's just a fundraiser yearbook that showcases the things that we do here at Beyond the Cover, where you discover exactly what it is. So we will be across Saturday, across from the KFC on Magnolia, vending, and then also we will be at OBC on Sunday. It'll just be, I think, just me and my children on Sunday at OBC vending. But on Saturday, the Beyond the Cover kids will be at the old OBC grounds in the parking lot on Magnolia across from KFC. They will have their products. They are so excited. But again, um, they have limited products that they have made because they did sell some at the grand opening. So, again, if you do not know or you don't see anything that you would like, but you do want to, contribute, these are only $10. So you could just contribute $10 to them and tell me which child you are, wanting to support, and we'll go from there. So we will have these available. We will also have our catalogs available as well so that, you'll be able to take these home and purchase your dress from here. That way you'll be able to either text me or the website is down below. So you can message me on the website that's down below and on the front of the magazine or catalog. Our magazines may or may not be there, but you can always purchase one of our magazines. We have them here at our location at 7122 Regal Lane. So let's get started. You need one of these um, journals. With God, all things are possible. And that's part of the subject on today. So when I say you need this, you really need this, but you can always record. I'm going to play a quick little short video to show you where you can find these videos on. We are on the local channels. We have our Roku channel, YouTube channel, and you can always catch us on Facebook Live. So I will play that quick video, and then we're going to jump right into, faith without works is dead. That's what it is, and you need faith in business. So we'll go deeper into that after this video.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
All right, so now we're going to get right into it. Now, the topic of today is faith without works is dead, sweetheart. It's dead. It's pointless to, oh, I got faith and all this and all that, but every time trouble comes, you go, oh God, oh Jesus, oh, but that's part of it. It's faith beyond sight. Anybody that knows me now back then, Shanita used to freak out because I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do and all this and that. Now that was me. So I'm not ashamed of it because I'm not there no more. So that's a blessing. I see how God is working because now all my faith is in Him. So I can talk about it because I can relate to it. I was there. So, but what God is saying with faith without works is dead is the fact that we say that we have faith with our words. But God said, do you really have faith in them actions? Because faith without them actions, if it ain't lining up, your words lining up with your action, then it's dead. You can say whatever you want to say, but God said it's dead. It means nothing, absolutely nothing to Him when you don't match it up with your actions. Now, the same thing with Cain and Abel. Cain gave whatever because he didn't have the faith that God was going to favor him over giving his best. I told y'all, all we have to do is give God our best. He knows that we're not perfect. He created us. Period. That's common sense. We're not going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. So therefore, God already knows that. That's already marked in. So now that we know we don't have to be perfect, all we have to do is give our best and let God do the rest. Period. So we can be blessed and not stressed. But if we continue to try to figure it out on our own and do everything on our own, and I hear people so many times where they're wanting to start their business and they're wanting to do this and they're wanting to do that, but it's like, but I gotta work this job because that's what pays my bills. Do you know what you are saying to God? Do you know what you are saying to God? And I'm not saying this as a judgmental person, because I was once thinking, it's all on me. I got to do this and I got to figure this out and I have to work and I have to go to school. I have to be the best person ever and I have to. And, I have to this and I have to that because it's all on me. That's what I said. So again, I'm not telling you nothing like, you shouldn't, and like I've never, because I know I have. And God has delivered, He is delivering me from that. So I'm able to talk about it because I'm walking it out in faith, period, all day, every day. Going on 7 years in May. It will be a faith walk. I mean, I did not see all of this. Now I'm a visual person, so He did give me a big picture. But, when you go through all these trials and tribulations, you're like, oh, well, it's not going to happen. Oh, I done messed up that and all this. But that was all part of the process, sweetheart. That's all part of the process. So don't get upset with yourself or whatever, like I did. Like, oh my gosh, if only I would have. God was like, I grew you up. I already knew you was going to do that. You ain't fooling me. I knew you was going to do that. I used that to build you up to where I'm going to take you now. So, if we have the faith beyond sight, that's what faith is, beyond what we see in front of us. So, faith is not, oh, well, I know I'm going to get paid every 2 weeks or every week. Faith is, I don't know, in business, all our business owners, we already know what it is. If we are really working for God and doing this and not scheming people and all this stuff, trying to get money, we know that it's not, I'm going to get paid, this every month or whatever, honey, like I said, when you are a servant of God, honey, let me tell you something. I didn't even know. He has built my faith up tremendously because Shanidra didn't even know what it was and what it was going to be. I was sitting here budgeting and doing all this stuff. And, I was like, well, I have to keep up with my money so I don't spend too much. And a lot of it. But if we allow God to direct our path, we don't have to keep up with nothing. People are like, how do you keep up with everything that you have to do and all this and that? God, honey, literally, he'd be like, go ahead and do that video. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and do that. No matter what comes my way, I still have God directing my path. So he keeps me on the right path if I stay in tune with him to listen. He's always talking to us. And when he's telling, he's just watching to see if we learned anything in our actions. So he's watching our actions. So again, faith without works is dead. It's pointless. That's James, the 2nd chapter, if you want to look it up. He said faith without works is dead. Now, what we're going to read today is persevering in faith. Faith in action. That's what we're going to learn today. That's what we're going to talk about on today. Because God is like, what we're not going to do is continue to say this foolish stuff like the job pays your bills. It does not. This business right here, see Portraits Magazine, that video on the cover, all this, does not pay my bills. I don't stress, and I'm blessed because I don't have to try to fight to get customers and fight for this so I can be able to pay this. No, I just got to do what God told me to do, and it's paid for. It's paid. It's done. Period. It is done. That's why I don't move outside of God no more. I try my best not to. I try not to lean into my own understanding and acknowledge God in all my ways. Because I know if God gives this to me, what do I have to worry about? He said, what you worried for? But see, when the job, y'all didn't see how the jobs let y'all go with no problem. And, when COVID hit, you were jobless and all that stuff. You remember that? But who kept you during that time? Can we talk about that? Or is that, oh my gosh, no, she's not going there. Yes, I am. Yes, indeedy. I'm going there today. Because God said, faith without works is dead. It's deeper than what you think this is. Oh, faith, we are not just repeating this as adults. We're going to start doing this. We're going to start doing the works. We're not going to just say this stuff and repeat and quote what scripture says. We're too grown and old for that. It's time to grow up, quit quoting scriptures, and actually do the scripture. Live in it. He said, don't only be hearers of my words, but be doers also. What, we're going to just keep repeating it and just not doing it? No. So what you are going to do, after you learn today, once you know better, you must do better. So, therefore, he expects you to do better. You cannot continue in your old ways, in your old nature that after he has given you the knowledge to get out of. You cannot continue on to that, period. So, before y'all start being like, oh my gosh, Shanidra is this and that and la-di-da-di-da. Oh, and this is more too classy. Boutique, you can have it either like this, or, like I have it, this one shoulder kind of situation happening. Not too low. So, as you know, we're going to get into the word. Now, I told you, faith without works is dead, is James, the 2nd chapter. Read all of it. Not some of it, not part of it, but all of it, so you can get the full revelation of what God is telling you to do. Now, every time we're about to get into the word, we see exactly how the enemy decides to mess up our signal. I mean, this is every single video. Now, soon as I see that it's coming back, there we go. We're going to be in Hebrews, the 10th chapter, starting at the first verse, period. So, Hebrews, oh, no, not the 10th, the 11th chapter. Hebrews, the 11th chapter, starting at the first verse. It says, now, faith is, now this is faith in action, because faith without works, without action, pretty much is dead. So, faith in action says, Hebrews, the 11th chapter, verse 1. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for. So we can't, oh, I hope God can do this for me. Oh, I hope he can. Oh, God, I hope he can. I need him to. But what are you doing in the meantime while you hoping and praying that he do it? Just sitting there waiting. Faith without works is dead. So you can't just be sitting and hoping and praying. Oh, God, please. So he said, now faith is confidence in what we hope for. Confident, like, I already know God gonna do it. So let me go ahead and start working towards it, because I know God is going to do it. And I'm talking to myself too. Hope for an assurance about what we do not see. The things we do not see. It is hard. Believe me, you. When I don't see stuff, I'm like, Lord, am I going? I always acknowledge God, especially when I don't see it. Now, when it's the total opposite, like it was for when he delivered them from Egypt, Moses told them, hey, God is about to deliver us. Woo, yay. Then, Pharaoh made it harder, but God already said he was going to harden Pharaoh's heart, and God already knew it was going to get harder before it got better. But when it gets harder, we're like, what in the world? And God, you just told me that it was about to get better. And now so I'm acknowledging you to make sure I'm in the right position. Am I doing the works that towards what you're saying in the right way that you would have me to do it? Because I'm looking, and I know it's faith beyond sight, but I'm looking and I'm seeing that it's not looking too promising right now. I want to, so I acknowledge God in all my ways. So he said faith is confidence in what we hope for. So we're not just hoping, we are actually knowing, having confidence, like we have confidence in that job, knowing that they're going to pay us every 2 weeks or whatever, or every week, that confidence. God said, keep that same energy and give that to him. Have confidence in him and know that whatever he gave you, whatever gifts he has given you, visions he has given you, just have that same confidence that he's going to pay for everything. You don't have to worry about this stuff. He gave me the vision for my business and for my kids. And he pays for not only me and my kids, but all these kids. Again, I'm not a 501c3. I don't get, this comes out of the money that God gives to me. So I'm just saying, this is faith in action. I have to have faith all day, every day. And I have to make sure I'm walking in obedience to him. Not to them, but to him, God. So, long as we stay in God and acknowledge God in all of our ways, we don't have nothing to worry about. He will supply all of our needs. He know what we need for this. He gave us this big vision, and we looking at our circumstance like, what the heck? How am I going to do that here? But he gave me this vision, and y'all saw I was doing Let's Dig Deep, Beyond the Cover in my basement. He told me to do it. I didn't see that he was going to bless me with anything else. I just started doing it. I started showing y'all clothes in my basement. I didn't know I was going to have a little storefront for it. I started showcasing that I was starting the kids camp or whatever. I didn't have a building then. I just started it because that's what he told me to do. And then look what he did. He supplied everything. I didn't know how the transportation was going to come because I didn't have a van when I moved into this building. But then he supplied that out of my own understanding because I didn't know what was going on. So the things that we hope for and that the visions that God gives us, if God gave it to you, trust and believe he's going to work it out. Everything that he gives us is to prosper us and to make us prosperous. You making them prosperous. Think about it. I don't care about hurting people's feelings because it hurt my feelings when I was realizing that I'm wasting my life helping somebody else become prosperous and not doing what God has me to do. And then I got to go in front of God and tell him, well, I was trying to help somebody else. Then it's not going to work with me and God because I didn't do what he told me to do. And that's what I want to encourage everybody. We have to do what God is telling us to do. And I'm not saying that everybody's supposed to be an entrepreneur. Trust me, I've been trying to get everybody to become an entrepreneur. Oh, you can do this, you can do this. But you can also, when you acknowledge your gift, you can do your gift. If you have to be told stuff, you can do your gift at the job. My grandmother was a CNA and a caregiver, and she really cared about the patient. This was really her God-given gift. So she lived out her purpose. I try to, get her out of it and get her to start her own business and all this stuff. But she did her business. That's what she loved to do. It's really the thing that you love to do. That's in your heart, that your heart's desire, that you really want to do. That's pressing in your heart. I mean, I was at work. Like, what in the world? But even with me working and doing all that stuff, that was all part of the process that led me to here. I worked at Talbot's. So I'm answering the phone for these women, and they're looking through their catalogs, and we have to look through the catalogs to help them figure out which number it is. So we're looking like, oh yeah, hold on. Yes, that catalog. Yes, we have that catalog right here. Oh, you're looking at this. So I learned how the catalogs look. All I got to do is look at it, and I can figure it out. So I saw how that operated and how that worked. So I understand why God had me to work there. I worked at Jewelry Television. I sell jewelry. Customer service. I have to do customer service all day, every day. Worked at National College. I worked pretty much everywhere. Ross. Dress for Less. So, I learned a lot of things. Work. But again, faith without works is dead. So we're going to get back into the word. So the word says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Assurance for the things that we don't see. That's basically when I just know that, okay, God, you're telling me to go ahead and go start this Beyond the Cover, start this, do this. I was doing it in my basement. Y'all see the videos. Y'all can go back and look. I was in my basement. So I was showing y'all clothes in my basement. Y'all can look. So I just did it with the assurance that God, if he told me to do it, then he's going to provide, and he's going to provide the space for me to be able to showcase it. I don't see it. I didn't see it then, but now I can see, oh, that's why you told me to go ahead and start doing it. Oh, beyond my sight, beyond my circumstance at that time. So that's what that means. This is what the ancients were commended for. The ancients was commended for this stuff. That's what we used to do. That's what, if we want to go back to that, to what our ancestors did and all this stuff, let's go back to living right in God and doing what God has us to do. Why are we going to follow the ones that got us in these curses? That makes no sense. Let's get out of that, because I'm tired of having to break curses. So, by faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command. We are in Hebrews, the 11th chapter. The 11th chapter, Hebrews, the 11th chapter. It says on the 3rd verse of Hebrews, the 11th chapter, by faith in God, by faith, we understand that the universe that you want to give credit to was formed at God's command. Look, you see the signal trying to be big man? So that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. So what we see, this universe that we see, was not made by something that is visible. So that is faith within itself. That's why you can't see God. Well, how come we can't see him? And how come? Well, I couldn't see how nothing was going to happen. I couldn't see how it was going to drop money in my account. I didn't see none of that when COVID hit. I didn't see how my place was going to be paid for. I moved in right when COVID hit, and then the kids was out of school, so I'm like, dang, I can't even take pictures now. I didn't see none of that. That was beyond my sight. So if we go beyond the cover, we will be able to discover what faith really is. Now, it says, the 4th verse of Hebrews, the 11th chapter. By faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. And by faith, Abel still speaks, even though he is dead. Abel is still speaking to you. Basically letting you know, look at here. All we got to do is give God our best. Period. Period. That's all we have to do. And he will give us favor just for giving our best. Just for having the faith and knowing that God is going to supply all our needs just because we gave our best. We get favor for doing our best, not to be perfect. I'm not perfect. We get angry, but we don't sin. He said, you can be angry, but sin not. So quit pointing the finger, judging people. He said, judge not, or ye too will be judged. In the same way in which you judge. So, verse 5, it says, by faith, Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. You see how this is working? You see how they got you warped and all that? They had me warped. I didn't even know. I'm sitting here saying, well, I got to work this job because this job paying my bills. But no, this business don't pay my bills. The job don't pay your bills. Nothing pays your bills but God. Period. Now, and without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. Seek him, acknowledge him in all your ways, and allow God to direct your path, because you are not going to understand. We do not lean not into thy own understanding, because we're not going to understand what is going on. I did not understand why I had to get rid of a 2019 Kia Rio. I did not understand that. But now I understand. I just allow God to direct my path. So that's what faith is. Beyond sight, beyond what we see, beyond the cover, where you discover. So that's what we have to do. Now, he says, verse 7, by faith Noah, when warned about things not yet seen and holy fear, built an ark to save his family. He didn't see, he didn't know nothing. He just, by faith, that what God told him to do, he just did it. Period. That's all we have to do. Okay, God, you told me to do it. Don't make sense to me in my own understanding, but our thoughts are not his thoughts. My stuff is retarded compared to God. So by his faith, he commended the world and became hearer of the righteousness that is in keeping with faith. By faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. By faith, he made his home in the promised land like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise. For he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God. And by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, See, if you have faith in God, it don't matter what your age is. If God say it's time for you to have a child, that's when you're going to have a child. It don't matter. So Sarah, who was past childbearing age, wasn't able to bear children because she considered him faithful who had made the promise. And so from this one man, and he as good as dead, came descendants as numerous as the stars in the skies and as countless as the sand on the seashore. So they became that numerous. All these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. People who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. If they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have had opportunity to return. Instead, they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. Period. By faith, Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice. He who had embraced the promises was about to sacrifice his one and only son. That's faith. That is faith. That's the works of faith. Even though God said to him, it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. Abraham reasoned with that God could even raise the dead. And so, in a manner of speaking, he did receive Isaac back from death. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau in regard in their future. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of Joseph's sons and worshiped as he leaned on the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when his end was near, spoke about the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt and gave instructions concerning the burial of his bones. By faith, Moses' parents hid him for 3 months after he was born because they saw he was no ordinary child and they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Period. He like, what you not gonna do? He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. That's faith beyond sight. So what God is basically telling, because he's giving all these examples. Like he said, by faith, the people passed through the Red Sea as on dry land. But when the Egyptians tried to do so, they were drowned. So God is basically giving you all these 50 million examples. But I can give you an example today, myself. Therefore, I have 2 kids. I did not have the slightest clue of what it was going to look like at the end of the tunnel. It was so dark. I didn't see this. I didn't see how it was going to happen with everything that I have went through. Like I said, I've been through wrecks, cancer, all types of things that God has just blessed me to not. He removed all of that from me. Trials and tribulations, falsely accused, all the above, by bearing this cross and walking by faith, looking crazy to normal human beings that, don't know God like that, or claim they know God, but they don't know God. Because if they knew God, they would be like, oh, that makes, it may not make sense to our understanding. Me starting a business with 2 babies, because they're technically still babies. I mean, just 8 years old. And I've been in business for going on 7 years. So with that being said, I did not see this. When I started my Beyond the Cover, I did not see this. I was in my basement. When I was doing my Let's Dig Deeps, I did not see this. Um, when he told me to start my clothing line, I did not see that he was going to bless me with the building to supply all the needs. When he told me to start the kids' classes, I did not see this. When he told me to write the Seed Destined to Be book back in 2017, I did not see this. When I did the bullying, I did not see this. When I started the Destin magazine, I did not see this. And this is really the beginning. It's just something minute that he's just putting so I can build up my faith even more. Beyond sight, beyond my circumstance. This building was not even what I came here to look at. And when the man showed me this building, I looked at it. I told him I was going to pray about it because I was like, no, this is a bit out my budget. But then the way God worked it out, it was just like, what? Okay, God, you want me to do it? But right after I did it, my account became parched. So I was like, okay, God, so again, this is beyond sight. Me looking at my account being parched. It was beyond sight. So then, I'm acknowledging God again and letting him know, it's looking a bit parched. I know you're not going to let my pleasant vineyard become parched and desolate. So, as I talked to him as Jeremiah did, he, quickly, dropped, what some may make in a year. And I was like, oh my goodness. But I didn't even touch it. I learned my lesson with that. When he bless you like that, you just got to just not touch it. Don't even touch it. You just let him direct all he wants it to be spent, period. I don't touch it, period. So, but this is all beyond sight. If I looked at my circle, I would have gave up. Oh my goodness, no, this ain't for me. I can't do it. No. If I focused on, oh, well, the children I'm getting, it's not really paying. So is this really what, but God is paying. And he's making sure they're eating good in the neighborhood. Real food. They're eating real food here. Because I want them to have full meals since I'm having them during the evening time after school. I know they're hungry, like my kids are. Even I was going to go ahead and this is beyond sight. I'm giving you today, 2022, Shanidra. I'm living in today, remember? So, with me thinking, since I've had my kids around other kids, the only reason why they were homeschooled this year going to K-12 was because my son has asthma and I don't play with his life. But I'm like, well, I've tested the waters. I think they can go back to school. But then God said, no, you're going to homeschool them for real. Independent homeschooling with your curriculum. Because I did learn that the teachers are teaching about, did you know the universe created you? What? You don't teach my children that. Then they're teaching them false stuff like Christopher Columbus. Then they don't want to tell them the real about their history, which I don't depend on the school to do that anyways. But you're contradicting what I'm teaching them. So that's a problem. But, I was still going to send them back to school, honestly, since I can't lie. But God was like, no, you're not. What you're not going to do, Shanidra, is send them back to school. You're going to put them through your program full on and deal with it. So it's no K-12 no more. It's no nothing. Independent, period. Beyond the cover academy is all that they will be doing. Period. Until God tells me something else. So they have an advantage where they're going to be able to focus on their gifts at this young age and have a facility that they know they don't have to pay for. All their supplies is going to be met. So it's just such a blessing. But I did not see this. I had just told my mom the day before that they're going back to school. And then God said, no, what you're not going to do. So now they're not going. So I must do, and it may not make sense to everybody else. Why would you do that? Why would you add more on yourself? And it's more on myself with dealing with these online classes, they want him to talk to you every 2 seconds. So being in school is not helping me anyway. Then they lying to my kids and it's not helping. So I'm following God beyond my sight, beyond what I don't know how this is going to turn out, how it's going to go, none of that. I'm just moving beyond sight, beyond my circumstance, beyond Shanidra and what Shanidra wants. That's what we have to do. So that is faith without. That's when you have faith beyond sight. But faith without works is dead. You can keep hoping to God that this is going to happen and you sitting on your butt and your hands and not doing nothing towards what he has given you. You have to move towards the vision that he gave you. You can write it down, make it plain all you want. But if you do not go towards the vision that he has given to you, what good is it? Because it's not pleasing to God if he gave you that big vision. But you like, oh, I need this person. You don't. I'm here. Me, just me. I'm doing the photography. I am doing the videos. I am doing the school. I am being a mom all day, every day. All this is me and God. Now, have I been petitioning the throne for some help? Yes. So I'm waiting patiently on God to send me who he wants in here. Because I can't have anybody in here. Because what we are going to do is care about these kids. They're already broken. So we're not going to break them anymore. So, but I'm doing all of this with God. So when he say that he will give you the strength and he will never give you more than he literally does. Literally. I didn't feel comfortable with talking in front of a camera, but I do now because I know he's talking for me. So I'm confident in God more so than myself. So that's another thing. My problem was I'm like, God, I can't do this. You want me to do video? I don't know how to do videos. He's like, who are you talking to? I'm the one that's guiding you. I'm the one that gifted you and skilled you for this stuff. So I just moved as he had me to move. Period. Literally. You can ask my father, who is on earth, that what I was doing. I did not have a clue of how to do this. I didn't have a clue of how to do a magazine, but I knew there was a need for a magazine for businesses that are not yet established for years, up and coming businesses. That's what the magazine is for. People that is taking that leap of faith to go towards what God has given them, the vision that God gave them, and moving forward. Now, they can't be in here for years if they just started, but they need a platform at least to show, hey, this is a business. We need to start acknowledging these businesses as they are starting. Because when they blow up, then, that's when we want to acknowledge it. No, God said what you're not going to do. Because they've been putting in the work. It takes a lot of work to even start the business. To start it. Mentally, physically, all of that. Because you got to get out your own mind. Your own understanding. You got to get out of all of that. All that got to be thrown away. Thrown in the trash. Because if you start leaning to that, you're going to talk yourself out of it. So I'm trying to help you. If God gave you the vision, just as he gave me, just as y'all have been able to see, I was in my basement doing the same thing. I had no clue. I was showing y'all dresses, showing y'all everything before he gave me this. Then it just popped out of nowhere. I didn't know how. I didn't even look at this building. He didn't even have this building listed. Never has been listed. I looked at it, seen all the 13 rooms, and I was like, let me pray about it. Because I was going on my own understanding, looking at my stuff. But in this journey, we must go by faith. It's faith, period. That's why I teach faith from the kids' classes to the adults. Anybody that has taken my See Destined to Be classes, they know. Faith. I teach about faith first. Faith is one of the number one things that I teach straight on. After I build your confidence and self-esteem, faith. We're going straight into faith. Now we done built you up. I told you about how you are in God and how precious you are. Boom, boom, boom. Faith. Because faith without works is dead. If you don't have the faith beyond what you see, your circumstance, don't even come. Because you're not going to start. You're going to have every excuse in the book. Oh, I can't, and my job, and this and that. Well, that's on you. That's what you talk. That's what you're saying to God, though. Just to be clear. So we don't want to keep saying this to God. Now that we know we're saying this to God, like I told you, when I told God, oh, I don't do video, I didn't know I was saying it to God. But now that I know, want me to do a video right now? Okay. I don't like people in my business, Lord. Okay, you said tell them my business. Okay. Now that I know that I'm talking to God, when I say no, then I don't say no more. Okay. You can work it out. I'm okay. That's faith in action. But faith without the action is dead. You can say you have faith all day long, but if your actions is not aligned with that, then it's dead. It's not pleasing to God. You working that job and working your butt off doing what they have you to do is not pleasing to God. We all have to answer to God at the end of the day. So I learned today that I'm going to work for God. Who do you work for? God. But you're your own business. I'm not my own business. I didn't have none of these visions on my own. I'm not that I'm a visionary from God. That's a gift too. And that makes it easier for me to do what he say too. Because sometimes when he show me, I'm like, ooh, wow. I can see it. But I can see what he's showing me. But then I look at my circumstance too. But I have to look past that and keep looking forward at this. And now, okay, but this is where he said he gonna bring me. Don't look like it right here. But he gonna bring me here because he showed me it. So that's what I'm working towards. And he show you it so you can be motivated to do it. But I understand as a human being, when it start looking crazy, you be, I be asking, am I doing the right thing? Am I still moving right towards that you showed me? Because it's not looking like this. I don't know what's going on. So, I just talk to the Lord like, hey, am I doing the right thing? Let me acknowledge you right now because I know I'm supposed to face storms and all this stuff, but I was just trying to make sure that this storm wasn't caused by me, that this ain't my Jonah moment. Just trying to make sure. So again, see Portraits and Magazine don't pay my bills. Beyond the Cover does not pay my bills. None of this pays my bills. God pays my bills. So the moment you start acknowledging that first, that God pays you and not a job, then you will have that. You will start going on to this faith journey. But as long as you have that mindset that whatever is paying you, your business is paying you, and this is paying you. No, my business is not paying me. No job paid me. God paid me for my works. When you don't get paid your worth, that's because you settle. God, you putting God in the box. He didn't tell you to settle for that. Pennies and nickels. He said what he has given you is going to make you prosperous. So God is providing you a way out of that. Take it. Because what you're making, I was making, I think the most I've ever made was $16.74 an hour. And now I make $150 per hour. Like, it's a huge difference. So you just have to live in God and do the gifts that God has given you so that you can become prosperous in all that you do. And you don't have to stress and you'll be blessed because you're doing what he says. So we're going to have to answer to God at the end of the day. And if we're not doing what he says, he's going to say, depart from me, worker of iniquity, worker of sin. And we're going to be looking stupid. Saying, didn't I prophesy and didn't I do this in your name and didn't I do that? And I helped her and I helped him. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't do that for me. You did it for them. You was helping them, not him. So God said, when you start worshiping and doing what he tell you to do, then you are pleasing to him. I learned that. I learned it real quick. So that's why I only do what God say. I don't care what these schools say. I don't care what nobody say. Period. God didn't tell me to do it, or if God didn't say it, I'm not doing it. I'm against it no matter what. People, oh, you're so wrong for telling kids that Santa Claus is not. No, you're so wrong for telling kids that Santa Claus is real. How about that? Let's tell them about the real God, something that's really real that they're going to need all their life. Let's tell them about that. Because what I'm not going to do is sound ignorant like that. That's ridiculous. I'm not going to say that the universe gave me this. I'm too grown for that. I cannot. Now I have true knowledge now because it comes from the Lord. So now that I have true knowledge, I cannot be foolish like that. And that is foolish. We just read. And that's part of faith in God. Quit having faith in yourself and thinking you're so bigger than what you are, because you're not. That's the devil's mentality. That's what got him kicked down. Go beyond the cover so that you can discover, and you won't be like him. You'll be in the image of God. Don't